Holy cats. This is the 51st episode of Become a Bat, a chronological look at Batman, starting all the way from the beginning. Kind of an exhaustive one, I'll say, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, not an exhaustive in a, goddamn, I don't want to do this anymore way.
We're not exhausted.
Yeah, but like, 1938, 1939 was a long time ago, and we're only in 1942. Yeah. Time flies by. So this is before we get into the story, quick Batman news. I mean, this is like a couple weeks old at this point, but they did confirm the Cape. Was it called Cape Crusader? Yeah, Cape Crusader. Batman Cape Crusader got picked up by Amazon. So they think they did a two season order.
We talked about it before, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's the Golden Age throwback show. It looks more like the original first appearance of Batman.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of originally pitched as like a successor to Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, it's a successor, but it's also like what they would have done if they could have done it and had full control over the creative decisions from the get-go.
Yeah, yeah.
Not to say that they settled for the animated series. They didn't. They just were given the direction to not make it so dark.
Yeah, I mean, it got lighter as time went on just because, like, it gained more of a kid audience and all that. But, I mean, it was pretty dark from the get-go.
Yeah, but now all of us kids are grown up and we love this stuff, and they have the budget and they have the audience, so they can do it.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
All right.
In other news, we have a new logo.
We do have a new logo. Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to mention that. I forgot to mention it last week, but Kelsey made it for us, so thank you so much, Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have anything we could plug?
Not right this second, but we can on Twitter.
All
can
right.
Post a new picture of the logo, and we can post her socials on there. Or something.
I have changed the logo on Twitter. I really haven't been using that Twitter. I need to do more with it.
Yeah.
And I keep meaning to. Probably sometime this week, I'm gonna like start up a Tumblr page.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Tumblr might be a better place. It's great, way better at Twitter than for posting artwork.
I posted it on my Instagram and I tagged her and everything, so it's
cool.
It's out there.
Yeah. So we'll definitely put up a Tumblr pretty soon. And thanks for the logo, Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I noticed a good spike in our listenership this week since I posted it, so it definitely has more appeal than the last one. Not to say that you made the last one,
I'm
so
offended.
No, I
don't care.
But yeah, it's definitely gave us more of a pop. So thank you.
Different colors, different look.
Yeah,
fresh start.
All right, so we're gonna do story number 1 and 2 in Batman 15.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start with story number 1. Your face is your fortune.
And new logo. We're gonna experiment with a new way of doing the podcast, right?
Oh,
new
that
format.
is right. Yes,
new logo, new format.
New format. Yes. We kind of done it a couple times before, but rather than having like a more dry synopsis, we're gonna like look. We've both read it already, but we're gonna like basically kind of like summarize it as we look over it, and then talk about the moments we like. Almost kind of. I'm not gonna say like Mystery Science Theater 3000, but more of an as far as we could do that, like not riffing, but
right.
As far as viewing a static images,
it's more in the moment. You're reading it, I'm reading it, I'm making commentary, you're making commentary.
It will make sense as we go about it.
Right.
But what hasn't changed is we're going to talk about the cover and the splash page.
And the creative team.
Yeah. So beginning with, so this is Batman number 15, story number 1, Your Face is Your Fortune. Art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, and George Roussos. Story by Jack Schiff.
How about that cover?
Oh my God, the cover. This is one of those, like, I remember first seeing this one on superdickory.com.
Yeah, Super Dickory.
It's, oh man, like, there's so much to be said about, I mean, we could do like a whole 2-hour thing about Batman and guns.
Yeah.
But definitely the image of Batman shooting a Gatling gun while Robin belt loading it. It's a striking image.
It's only to sell war bonds. Like it says right on the cover, keep those bullets flying, keep on buying war bonds and stamps. Never happens in the story. At least not the ones that we've read so far. Did you see the cover to the next one?
Oh my, wait, no, I haven't.
If this was going to happen at all, it's going to happen in the next story.
Okay. Well, I was thinking not the cover, but the splash page for story 3.
Yeah.
That is
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
the splash page.
Yeah,
obviously
I have that. Cover. That is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're going there.
I've already read that story. It's great.
Okay.
So, but on to Your face is your fortune. The splash page for this is pretty good too. They they're skewing the huge villain.
Yeah,
And they're both on. I mean, the perspective, Batman's tiny, but it's because he's like far away on the plane.
right.
But
They're still larger than life.
you know what? I'm wrong. This is a kaiju-sized cat.
It's a gigantic, like Godzilla-sized cat, and
Yeah.
then Batman chasing it on an airplane.
Yeah. So okay, and you know what? Selena Kyle would be gigantic on that too.
She would have to be.
Yeah. Or as I should say, Elva Bar.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm pretty sure they said Selena Kyle in the previous story, right?
They've given her like 3 or 4 different names already.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the canon idea that Elva Bar is her nom de plume.
Yeah. For this specific persona she's adopted here.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think we really know which name is her real name yet.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they settled on Selena Kyle, but yeah, this is the golden age. They're flying by the seat of their pants.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is really quite established. I mean, they say later on in this issue, Batman and Robin would never use guns. They're doing it on the cover, and Batman murdered many people with guns like a year or two earlier.
Such contradiction in this issue
Yeah.
from the cover to the story, but it's all to sell war bonds.
It was for a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the general synopsis of this one, and then I can kind of interject?
Yeah. But
Okay.
why don't you start by reading the blurb?
I will.
All right.
All right. Beneath the dark denim of that stern figure of the night, Batman beats a tender, generous heart, a heart that can be moved by sorrow, that can be merciful to the unfortunate, and that can soften to the whispers of love. And when the Catwoman, that strange figure of the underworld, arch enemy of the dynamic duo, reappears with a new blueprint for banditry and falls in love with Bruce Wayne, you can expect almost anything to happen. And it does, as Batman and Robin again match wits with the Tigress Queen and learn that your face is your fortune.
Very good. Very good. Didn't even stutter. That was
Nope.
excellent. All right, so on to the general synopsis here. So the story basically starts. We're watching in a way. So it revolves around a lovely young woman named Elva Bar, and we see basically her like daily like life, right? She gets up, she feeds her cat, she goes to the cafe for breakfast, and she goes to work.
Very
Well,
mundane stuff.
yeah, it's mundane. It's a slice of life, as you will.
Yeah. You know, that first panel, though, I'm going to call the panels out as I see them.
Yeah.
So sorry if I
This
interrupt
is
you, but
no, this is replacing our like panels we love because
Yeah.
like we were just doing this anyway.
the first panel is of her waking up in bed and yawning as her alarm clock goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems really like dumb and simple and obvious, but like when you think about the time this like comic book was published and the fact that you're seeing her in her bedroom in her underwear, that's pretty risque, especially for a kid's comic book.
Yeah,
I've been watching a ton of movies from this era, and they really don't show women in their underwear very often, even just that much of it.
yeah. I mean, it's more of a gown than like.
Well,
but,
that's
I
what
mean,
their underwear looked like.
yeah.
Their underwear was like a full body suit.
I mean,
basically.
yeah, you're pretty right because like the first couple on television to be shown like sleeping in the same bed
Mhm.
won't be for like another like 20 years. You know who it
this
was?
is I know, but I forgot.
It's Fred and Wilma Flintstone.
Yeah. So this is very risque.
Yeah.
Comic books and animation, I guess, are ahead of the curve a little bit here. Or
Yeah.
they're able to skate by the censors because kids are reading them, not adults.
Yeah, and I mean that would bite them in the ass in like a decade, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't even register as risque myself. So she works at a salon, and she seems to be a nice woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then on to the next page, we see that she's going to a like a beauty pageant,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the judges, I mean, she's a contestant in the beauty pageant, and one of the judges is none other than our Bruce Wayne.
Of course.
And
Why wouldn't there be Bruce Wayne at this beauty pageant judge?
yeah, and like they both have the hots for each other, and Bruce just by sight alone, he's like, that's Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows that figure. Even with like she
looks so different in this issue,
She
but
does.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. They give her more of like that classic 1930s actress look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looks different. I mean, they never specify if it's because she's like hiding. She's got a new persona, but it works. Like that reading of it works, you
Mhm.
know. And like, of course, Bruce, he's studied her very well, so he can tell.
I love that that panel where it's just the two of them from like the chest up, and they're like staring at each other because they're thinking two completely different things. They should have almost taken her thought bubble from the next panel and put it into that panel so that you can see the contradiction between like what they're thinking.
You know what? I bet this was like they were reading this this story when they were like drafting up Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like because I really like that scene where they're like at the dance. And
it does kind of play off like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like they in this one they don't realize it, but I like that in Batman Returns they like realize each other's secret identity.
Yeah.
It was really good. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what's going on now? Yeah, so Elva, she is falling for Bruce, right? And Linda Page is reading the newspaper the next day, and she's like, "What the hell? Like this makes the papers." And like Bruce, we should probably talk about Linda Page because it's been a while since she's been here.
Yeah, this is fuel for my book that I'm going to finish writing someday. This is like right here, probably the turning point in their relationship when he
definitely
starts hanging out with another woman.
Yeah,
in public,
just in public, unprompted. I mean, like it's one thing to be like a judge at this beauty contest. She probably knew.
He like handpicked her.
Yeah, but
he's like the lead judge.
Linda probably like knew this, going in, but then she reads it and he's like, "You're going too far, Bruce."
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the next morning, Bruce and Dick are like talking about it. Bruce says, "I can't for the life of me figure out why she's working at that beauty salon." So he's already like thinking there's some kind of angle to this, right? And then we find out why she's working at this beauty salon. It's so she can make molds of her clientele's faces.
Yep.
So, Bruce, Batman and Robin, they suit up and they start following her. And then they go to like this part kind of lost me reading through it. Like sometimes I'm just reading and I'm not comprehending what's going on. Right. But like they see this guy.
Damn Arizona educational system.
Right. I mean, she meets this guy and she's getting like these action figure like marionettes of Batman or Robin.
Yeah.
They're nice looking.
Does she actually buy them though? Like it's not clear.
I don't know. Like I think she's just using it. Yeah, she says I'll take one. Yeah. So who do you think she bought? Batman or Robin?
Batman, of course.
Yeah. Be weird for her to buy Robin.
Yeah.
She did save Robin's life that one time from Joker.
Yeah.
But like Batman notices as they exchange like the money that he gets like there's some sleight of hand going on and she gets a note she passed a note to him. So Batman decides, okay, I got to figure out what this note is. So he follows the guy who got the note into a bowling alley. And
this is 1942.
I
think I brought this up before. Bowling alleys are sketchy places for sketchy men at this time.
Yeah, kind of like how arcades would end up being like these like dens of like villainy.
Pretty much.
Like scummy places. Yeah, bowling alley, I could see that. Plus I mean it's just a bunch of like a place where just fat guys went to just drink beer and throw like large hunks of iron,
stay away from their wives and just get shit faced.
So I could see that.
I mean, if it wasn't a sketchy place, they wouldn't call it a bowling alley. They would have called it like a bowling
and you know what, that's probably
ballroom or something.
Thinking about it like historically too. I mean, maybe I should look into the history of bowling alleys. You got me thinking about it. But like,
that's what I did when I got into bowling the first time.
Bars shut down in the 20s. This is like barely a decade after Prohibition ended.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of folks were like, all right, we're going bowling. We got to go bowling, I guess. That's where we're going to go away from the wives.
And according to this, also child labor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was the thing with bowling alleys.
So. Yeah.
We'll get there, though. Let's keep going.
We got back there. Child labor is back. Back to the story, though. So, like, Batman and Robin walk in, and they come up with this thing where they're looking for a guy named Deadshot Mike. I was thinking to myself, like, Deadshot Mike. I wonder if that's like Earth 2 Deadshot. But then he finds out like the guy's name who got the note. His name is Jim Jones.
Right. I
was like, oh, I'm thinking like, oh, nobody named Jim Jones could ever harm anybody.
And then you're like, wait a second.
But yeah, he kind of uses this like as an excuse to like manhandle Jim Jones. He basically like pickpockets Jim to get that note. And then like the two guys that are like with Jim are like, fuck you, Batman. And one of them, like, this is an impressive feat in its own right.
Oh yeah, the bowling ball.
The bowling ball, yeah.
He probably picked up like a 5-pounder or like the little
even if
ones.
It's even then he throws it like it's a baseball.
Yeah. Actually, it probably was heavy because if this is like a manly thing and they didn't have women or kids in the bowling alley, they're probably all like 10 plus pounds.
Probably. Either way, so yeah, one of his goons picks up a bowling ball and he's throwing it at Batman, but he throws it like a baseball.
Yeah.
And then Batman does the thing like there's a moment in Yakuza where it happens, and I'm sure Batman's done it in like other things too.
Oh, this happens all the time in like cartoons and stuff from this era.
Yeah, where well, not specifically cartoons, but like basically like there's a guy with like a machine gun or a gun, and he's gonna shoot the hero, but the hero like grabs a goon and like uses him as a shield, so he takes all the bullets. Batman does that, but like he makes Jim Jones take the bowling ball to the head,
to the face. Yeah,
yeah, and
oof.
Like we see Jim Jones talking like later, like in the panel later, like my head,
yeah,
or that's a different guy. Well, you know what? Jim Jones doesn't talk.
Out cold. He could be dead.
Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah, well, he's dead. I'm calling it. Jim Jones is dead. Like if he didn't die immediately from that impact,
he just got bowled down the bowling lane.
Yeah,
because in the next panel, Batman bowls him like a human bowling ball.
Yeah, Jim Jones is dead. So Batman kills. Okay, no, this goon kills Jim Jones. Batman doesn't make it any better. But they go outside and Batman's accomplished his goal anyway. He's got the note. The fight was basically all their fault anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
some bad bowling puns in here too.
Yeah. So, what did the note say? Batman figures out. Oh, they're going to May Point wedding. But Catwoman. But he's like, how did Catwoman get there? It's very guarded. Well, very well guarded. And this is where we see that she basically infiltrates May Point wedding by putting on a mask of one of her clients. Let's see. So,
can I just say, how many freaking Batman characters are capable of making their faces look convincingly like other people?
Yeah.
We got Batman, we got Robin, we got Catwoman now, we got Joker, we got Clayface. Am I missing one?
Oh, I know we are, but
yeah, it's like they just seem to think that this is like an easy thing to do back then.
I mean, it's definitely like something that's going on in like the pulp serials.
Yeah, well, it's because of Lon Chaney and Jack Pierce and like all the popular movies, but like it's not that easy to do.
Lupin the Third and Scooby Doo will take this to even greater effect in the decades to come.
Oh, I know.
Speaking of, I don't know if you heard the Batman 2 news.
No.
Clayface is going to be in it.
Yes.
Yeah. They haven't said what version.
It's probably not going to be the one that I want, but it's okay. I'll take any Clayface.
It is kind of steeped more in like a realistic universe, so it could be Basil Karlo.
I don't think so, though. Well, maybe, but just I don't see him being like the actor or the makeup guy, right?
Yeah.
Like I can see him being Basil Karlo as like the living clay, maybe.
I mean, it could be. It's probably going to end up being like a combination that takes a bunch from.
That would be so cool. Ones. Could you imagine a whodunit murder mystery where the killer can look like anyone?
Yeah,
including Bruce Wayne.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyways, she sneaks in as somebody named Miss Arnold, and she's there to steal something I cannot remember. This is kind of one of the flaws of not doing like the notes. But
it'll come to you when you flip to the next page.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, she goes like in the bushes. She puts on her current Catwoman outfit, which is still the hideous one. But
it's pretty gross.
It kind of looks like she's like added like different
the cat mask is different. It has a white mouth.
Yeah, it actually looks a little bit better.
Yeah, but I don't like the green bodysuit.
The green bodysuit, like green and orange is like an ugly combination.
The purple and green works so much better.
It did, yeah. I mean, they're still working on Catwoman. Like,
rewind for a second.
Okay.
Did you read that little article I sent you?
No, I forgot you sent it. Sorry.
I sent Tom a really short. It's barely even an article. It's just like pictures and like blurbs about Ray and Jack Burnley, who are the artists on the second story that we're about to go over when we're done with this one.
Yeah.
And they're honestly, like, I think that's my favorite creative team so far in this era.
Mm-hmm.
I like their artwork more. This is a Bob Kane one. It's not them.
Yeah.
But that panel on the top left on the previous page where it's Batman and Robin and they have the street lamp and like the light on them, that image comes from that first ever Jack Burnley cover, and they've recycled it like 10 times since then.
Oh,
so like he's responsible for that specific image.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so basically she basically infiltrates the place with her photographers, quote unquote, and the photographers. It says like they're planning a coup.
Yeah, they're just gunmen.
I mean, yeah, they're just gunmen. They're just like holding the place up so they can.
They got guns inside their cameras.
Yeah. Batman and Robin jump in. They foil this would-be coup, and Catwoman starts fleeing, and Batman catches Catwoman. And he unmasks her because she's got that ugly cat mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when She basically like admits she loves Bruce Wayne. She's in love with him, and this disarms Batman. And I
Yeah.
love these panels. This is great.
You got to say something else about Jack Burnley here, or Ray and Jack Burnley. They're brothers. They both draw, but one of them is more of an inker.
Mm-hmm.
They started the silhouette thing.
Oh, okay.
And now Bob Kane is continuing it, which means they might actually be ghost artists in this. But
yeah, they probably ghost arted other ones.
I guarantee they're the ones that started that
iconic
looking Bruce Wayne face. Too.
I mean, the art in this one is gorgeous, so it
It's
definitely feels more like less of a typical Bob Kane. But yeah, I'm gonna post these ones to like Tumblr or
that
Twitter.
whole sequence is good all the way up. Like the first 3 or the first 4.
Yeah, I mean, like in the first one where she says, "I'm in love, Batman," in love with a fine, decent man. You probably heard of him, Bruce Wayne. And yeah, we see like it's her fully colored, and then on the side is Batman's head, like side profile.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not. You wouldn't even know it was Batman if it wasn't for like that tiny little like
the ear.
The ear, it's so small. But she's like, "Huh, in love with me," and he looks almost dumbstruck. Like
it's he's being self-reflective.
Yeah,
it's cool that they draw him in a full-on silhouette when he's thinking to himself and he's very deep in thought.
Yeah, you could
it's like he's removed from the situation.
Even though it's just like a flat silhouette, like he's definitely like there's still emotion to it.
Yeah,
yeah, and then even more so in the next panel, where he's in silhouette, like he's got the full moon behind him. And it's like, basically from like the bust up.
Yeah.
And we just see his like little eyes, and they're like rounded, so he's definitely like more of a.
Well, his eyes, they flipped. They do that in the animated series whenever he's like, oh, he's shocked. His eyes flip over and they're rounded on top instead.
I was thinking exactly that.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great. So, but this basically disarms Batman and gives Elva Bar just enough time to run off, and Dick is basically like, what the hell, man? Right? So anyway, some time passes, and Bruce Wayne decides to court Elva Bar.
Mm-hmm. Even though he has a fiance.
I don't think they're a fiance at this point.
They called her his fiance before.
They have? Okay.
Yeah,
this is like Batman definitely planned something off screen and to himself. So he must have been like, I'm going to see how this goes. My headcanon is like, he's like, I'm going to see how this goes. But so if it goes one way and I'm questioned too hard, I'll just say it. I had this plan the whole time.
When I read it, I was distinctly feeling the same way. I was like, Bruce, you bastard.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm not going to tell Robin anything because Robin doesn't understand the ladies and he won't understand my motivations.
Yeah.
Also because my motivations are a little effed up.
Yeah. So far in like all three of the in like all 3-4 years of this that we've been reading, the only like 3 things that have gotten under Batman's skin, have been when everybody threatens to harm Robin.
Yep.
The Joker.
Yeah.
And
everything Joker.
Yeah. That one, he just enrages him more than anything. And then Catwoman.
Yep.
Who could disarm him just in a way that no one else can.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll add Two-Face to that, but not yet.
Yeah. So the Two-Face in this wasn't personal at all. Like I felt like they had the seeds of the stuff that the writers were able to like.
The story was there, but when they reintroduce him, that's when we'll
which I don't remember when that's going to happen. It's not going to be for like another
50s.
Yeah, I think we got to like another decade plus until he comes back. Anyway, so yeah, Bruce starts kind of courting Elva Bar.
I love this panel, by the way.
Which one?
This bottom right panel.
Yeah.
It's showing like the whole courting sequence. Like it shows the Bruce Wayne and Elva Bar like sharing glasses of wine with their hands intertwined or whatever, and then like it shows them dancing at a jazz club.
Yep.
And like there's this really cool like palm tree, I guess, in the background.
That's something you'd expect in like a jazz club in like a 1940s.
Right, and then like the musical notes are like swinging around them.
Yeah.
And then he's like holding her like he's about to tip her back, and her dress is the same color as the palm leaves.
Yeah.
And then it's like the way that the shadows are like on her dress, like in the wrinkles, looks just like the palm leaf too. Which makes me think this is not Bob Kane, because this is like really good scene composition right here. And then it goes right past them to the final shot where they're like riding horses together.
Yeah. Each one of these could have been like the cover of like a romance novel.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Yeah, that's a great panel. So anyways, on the next page we got Bruce and Dick, and they're talking, and I love this. This is like my thing where he's like planning it. He's like, I'm gonna see how this goes, but I'll tell him I have it under control anyway.
His face in that panel too.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
so,
one
like, hoity-toity looking.
Yeah, this is one of those where like Bruce and Dick have like a brother relationship, but like very rarely at this point he's got to be like, I'm an adult, you're a kid, you just don't understand. So Dick says, but Bruce, you can't do this. That Elva's the Catwoman. What's got into you? What about Linda? What about us?
What about us?
This gets into some weird places in like a page or two.
Yeah.
And then Bruce replies, he's like, tut. Patience, my lad. You're trying too young. You're too young to understand these things. Oh my god.
I know.
And like, yeah, he just like, he's literally like looking down at him too. Like, that's good.
Dick is being the voice, or like the voice of reason and the conscience of everybody reading this issue. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like if this was like a different situation, like you could believe that, like, okay, yeah, Bruce is the adult in the room. He knows what he's doing. But like when it comes to Catwoman, like Dick is the only one thinking straight.
Yep.
Dick is thinking with his noggin.
Bruce is thinking with
his dick.
His dick.
So anyways, we're seeing what's going on with Catwoman, and Catwoman, like her men are like, you're in love with that Bruce Wayne guy. That's like affecting your judgment. And she's like,
she bitch slaps that guy so hard.
She does. Like, oh my god. Oh, that's Jim Jones. He lived.
Apparently.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so she's like, yeah, maybe I should probably like look into this though. She does like think, yeah, okay, something. This is a little too easy.
Yeah.
And then we see Linda Page, and she's like just depressed as all hell.
Just bawling her eyes out.
Yeah.
She just read a newspaper saying that, or with pictures of them together or something.
Yeah. She has no idea what's going on. Bruce hasn't communicated. What the hell? So anyways,
he's got a bad freaking explanation for all this too.
We'll
get there.
He does. Yeah. So Linda just so happens to go to Elva Bar for her at her cosmetology salon place. Forgive me on my female audience. But anyways, I think she just like, kind of wants to like check out, you know, who this Elva Bar is. And then Elva recognizes that this is Linda, and she's like, I got an idea. So she makes a plaster of Linda's face, and then she goes out on a date as Linda with Bruce. And she's like, what's going on? And Bruce reveals his plan and says, oh, just trust me, Linda, this is a fake engagement. I'm just trying to see if no, he doesn't. Well, he doesn't say about Catwoman. He doesn't reveal that, you know, he knows that this is Catwoman. Right. But he does basically reveal like, hey, yeah, this is kind of a plan. And she's like, screw you, Bruce.
Yeah.
To Bruce's dismay.
I know. He's like, don't worry, I told myself that it's okay to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so fucking hilarious. And then this is when he gets home, and then he like reveals his plan to Dick, and then Dick is like, "Oh, I guess I am too young to get it." But yeah, Catwoman basically like knowing what's going on. Like, oh, I didn't mention. So basically, Bruce says like he's working with Batman, right? This was Batman's plan to date another woman, which is insane in its own right. But it just so happens to be that same, oh, I take pictures of Spider-Man. Type thing. But yeah, Catwoman, knowing that the whole thing's been fake, decides to just go on a big crime spree, and then they have Dick infiltrate the bowling alley, and he goes to tell Bruce, what's going on, but he's like, you know what, you're too old to understand. And then Bruce, what does Bruce do?
What? Oh yeah, he spanks him.
He spanks him.
Or he's about to, and then he doesn't follow through. We can't tell.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a very odd sequence. Also, in the next panel, like that.
At least he didn't say "Daddy Spank."
Yeah, that is true. Papa Spank.
Papa Spank. Papa. That's right.
Yeah. And the next panel is a little weird. Like it's like a kind of a side profile of Robin. But doesn't have his mask on. Like this is just like this is right before he puts his mask on. It just looks kind of weird. You want to see it? Like right here. I don't know, it just looks off.
Yeah, his nose is all weird.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's easier to see it in that panel than I can see it here.
I bet you it's like the first time anyone had like drawn him like that, and they're like, what do we do? So anyways, it looks like, so they go to like a pet store. Next panel, like Bruce and who's there? I think it was Bruce in the panel. Yeah, but basically they're gonna rob a pet store, right? Look at this parrot. This parrot looks like a turtle.
I don't think it's really a pet store. I think it's a pet show.
Oh, it's a pet show.
Yeah,
yeah,
apparently it does. Show. It looks really strange. It doesn't look like a bird.
Yeah. I mean,
there's all these dogs on displays and pets on display, and their owners are walking around showing them off.
Yeah. So I guess Catwoman's gonna be here. She's gonna rob the place.
If this were the Catwoman that we know, she would be robbing the place of cats or cat-shaped things.
Yeah. Anyways, Batman and Robin show up. Fight ensues, and Batman catches Catwoman, unmasks her. She goes to prison, and that's kind of that. Pretty much. Glad it's over. Linda. I hope Linda will forgive me. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know how that's gonna end up, but
she better not. Damn it.
Yeah, I know. When I first started reading this one, I thought like it would be like the end of Linda. Mm-hmm. Like why is she still with this guy?
Seriously, he doesn't treat her well.
He doesn't treat her. I mean, she's not even in it for the money because her father is rich.
Independently rich.
Yeah, she's sort of independently rich. She's got a job as a nurse, so like she's not a greedy person.
I have a theory here. Rich men love Bruce Wayne because he's like the rich everyman, you know. So maybe her dad loves Bruce Wayne and he just wants his daughter to marry him. So she's like putting up with all this stuff because it's like she likes him, but but her dad also really likes him because that was the thing back then. Yeah, you had to have their father's permission and everything. And
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Things were weird back then. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
I like this one a lot because it shows that Bruce Wayne is not completely infallible. Yeah, like he tries to say that he had this plan all along, but like as soon as he reveals his plan, he realizes that he fucked his own plan up because he was like being seduced by Catwoman.
Yeah, yeah. Like the cat Batwoman stories, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are.
There's a lot going on there psychologically too. Like, so weird. We're gonna get in some weird territory with Robin on the next story here. So stick with us after we take a quick break. And we are back to I can't call this one a Robin-centric episode.
No, it's not really. It's really kind of hard to describe this one. I would say it's another one of those like slice of life type of stories from the perspective of someone beyond Batman.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like more of like there's a lot of dark mirrors that go on in Batman.
This is definitely a dark mirror, but but it's not a Batman-centric story. It's focusing on other stuff.
It's a pretty clever one, I'd say.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I liked it more than the Catwoman one, and I thought the Catwoman one was tons of fun. This one is more like the types of stories I assume I'm going to get when I read these comics. You know?
Yeah, this one felt way more noir-ish.
Definitely,
to a degree. Well, especially those first two pages.
The beginning of it, and then it goes into full-blown comic book superhero territory.
Yeah. All right. So this is story number 2, "The Boy Who Wanted to Be Robin." Art by Jack Burnley and Ray Burnley. Story by Don Cameron. And from the get-go, we can feel this is definitely a different creative team.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the splash page is so cleanly drawn. The ink lines are so perfect. Man, it looks good.
Yeah. So the splash page focuses on basically Batman's in the background. He's like beating up at some dudes. But Robin is shaking hands with a redheaded child.
Yep.
Who kind of looks homeless. I'm pretty sure he's homeless.
Yeah, he's homeless.
They don't really mention what his deal was.
He's homeless. They say it.
Oh, they did?
He's a street wife.
Yeah, I guess so. I meant, well, I guess, I don't know what's going on with his kid, with his parents. They're probably dead.
They're dead. It says they died.
They did?
Yeah, it does.
I'm a bad person.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
All right.
Let me try reading this blurb here. How would you like to put on the fighting togs of Robin and risk peril at the side of the almighty Batman? Here is the amazing story of a homeless boy who dreamed of just that, and was the proudest and happiest kid in America when he saw his dream come true. Or rather, thought he saw it coming true, for what followed proved to be one of the meanest frauds ever perpetuated but Batman and Robin hurtle into swift action when they hear about the boy who wanted to be Robin.
Good story.
Okay, yeah. So I guess the thing says he's homeless. I don't read those because like I try to keep those like a surprise.
It's all good. I'll cover all the details.
Also on the first splash page, just let me pull it up here. Oh, it does say Batman with Robin.
Yeah.
This one almost kind of focuses on it with Robin, but like that circle like pulls it over. Like it's like over it. So I wonder if they just like kind of pasted that over.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, on the splash page, they're doing that thing where they pop the first panel of the book down into the right hand corner. And what a panel it is.
Holy, it looks like it's out of a different comic.
It's ripped straight out of film noir.
Yeah.
It's a close-up of a man in an alleyway lighting a cigarette and taking the first drag, and the light from the match throws this cool, like, shadowy glare on his face.
Yeah, and you can, like, see the shadow of, like, the cigarette, like, going across his face, too.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh.
And then the very next panel is as well, because it's showing more zoomed-out picture of the same guy standing in the same alley with the light on the bricks, and he's smoking his cigarette. It feels like something straight out of a film noir, and I love it.
Yeah.
It feels like Humphrey Bogart standing right there. And then it turns a little bit more into like an action comic book, but we'll go back into noir territory in a second here.
Yeah.
So he's standing at the edge of a warehouse smoking a cigarette, and he's watching Batman and Robin take down a series of thugs with ease, throwing them around like they're action figures, basically. And he's thinking to himself what he can do and like what he's going to do with his career and how he's going to like make it as a criminal. Cuts back to film noir territory. Here we have a series of really beautiful shots of him walking through the alleyway, going to a bar, sitting down under a lamp, drinking, having some more smokes. It's all really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
It's probably some of the best looking stuff we've seen so far in Batman, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Batman's not even in it.
Right. I do love his thought process right here, though, is like he's sitting at the table, he's smoking a cigar, he's got like, I don't know, whiskey or a beer.
Yeah.
And he's like saying, I've been a track athlete, an acrobat, a boxer. I can get in shape fast. But I'd have to so he's come up with his plan. He's like, but I need like, he needs a bruiser, right? But he's like, I could be like this top awesome athlete, but he's like doing this while he's smoking a cigarette and drinking like heavy alcohol.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Bruce Wayne used to smoke a pipe.
He did, yeah. I think he probably still does.
But yeah, so this guy, he's got all the makings of being a Batman.
Yeah.
Right? He's got all this physical prowess. And he's smart. Everyone knows he's smart.
Yeah, he's introspective.
But not too smart because he decides that he needs a kid to help him.
Well, you know what, though? Like, he's thinking like Batman did.
Right, but Batman wasn't like, you know what? I need a kid to help me fight crime.
That is
just
true.
Like sort of was in a situation and he witnessed something that was bad and he knew he could make life better for this kid.
Well, I mean, this guy basically looked at what works for Batman. He doesn't
know the motivation.
He doesn't know the motivation behind it.
Right.
So to him, he probably thought, yeah, that would have worked. Either way, like it's a winning combination. So this guy's on the right track.
It does work for him actually.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and it does work exceedingly well.
So this guy, he decides to leave the bar after he realizes that he needs a kid like Robin. He needs his own Robin. He walks over to a street corner where there's this little kid reading a comic book, a Batman comic book. And he
actually, I don't think it's a comic. I think it's just like it's not a newspaper, but like it's some kind of pamphlet. He just says it's about the Batman.
I would have assumed that it's Batman just because it looks small like a comic book.
Yeah.
And we know that Batman is like a character within the Batman universe at this point.
Yeah. I'm just being picky here.
But yeah, he's asking the kid what he's reading. He says he's reading Batman. He's shining up the guy's shoes. And then he asks the kid, like, I bet don't you wish you were Robin? And he's like, oh, you bet, mister. That would be amazing. And he's like, well, today's your day. And he hands him like some money and tells him like, you're going to be basically my Robin. And then they go on a training montage here, which is not that dissimilar from the training montage where Bruce trains Dick to be Robin.
Yeah, he's even like they're even in a barn.
Yeah, they're in a barn. They're doing acrobatic stuff. He's teaching him how to do like the skydives where he like dives and tackles somebody.
Yep.
Like they're walking across tight ropes, like they're climbing things with their bare hands. They're throwing him over his head. Everything that like Robin has done so far, all of his impressive feats, they're showing that this kid is capable of all of it too.
Yeah, which is very impressive that this kid like learns it in such a short time.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's not even like Bruce Wayne who like spent like years, abroad. This guy is just like, you know what, I can do it, and he did it.
I just thought of something. What if somebody was reading these old Golden Age comics, and that's where Jason Todd came from? This kid looks just like Robin, but he has red hair. He's homeless. His parents are dead, although Jason Todd's mom is alive. And like he's just as good at being Robin as Robin is.
I didn't even think about
Like,
that.
it's not to say that they have the same personality, but like if someone was reading these old comics looking for some sort of like inspiration to mine for new comics,
Yeah.
they could have run across this little redhead Robin and been
Yeah,
like, "Hey,
he's got the makings of like the same kind of origins
yeah,
Jason. Yeah.
yes, they do." So, anyways, after this training montage, apparently he's ready to be Robin or ready to be whatever they want to call him. I don't think he actually has.
He doesn't have a name. Oh, and speaking of, I don't think we ever named said the guy's name. The gangster guy. He's not even a gangster. He's just like our focus. His name is Knuckles.
Yeah.
And I got some things to say about that, but when we get closer to the end.
Okay. So Knuckles and Robin wannabe. He probably has a name.
Wow. You know what? We are terrible podcasters. I don't. You know
okay.
what?
His name's not all that.
We're just gonna call him the kid.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think he says it unless he like says it when he like meets Robin,
or he can be the orphan.
Yeah, the orphan, the kid. Anyways,
regardless, Knuckles and the orphan, they scale a building, Palace Theater, and he sends the orphan through the window to tackle the security guard, and then they loot the safe, but they do it all under the guise that it's phony money that these crooks have put into the safe because they're going to do something bad with it, and that the security guard's not really a security guard. He's just someone in a security guard costume.
Yeah.
So he's leading this kid on, making him think that he is fighting crime when really he's just like robbing people blind.
Yeah. And basically his whole way of doing this is listen, Batman and Robin do things in a very weird way, and an outsider would probably think they're criminals, and they even were considered criminals for a while.
Right. And now they work with the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's manipulating the hell out of this kid.
Yep.
And then they escape on the rooftop through these little gliders that they can collapse and somehow get up to the roof.
Yeah,
when they climbed up there.
It's even more taken from Batman's MO.
Yeah. And then they do a couple things that the Batman and Robin have never done, which I thought were pretty impressive, and we'll get in there too. Next, they decide that he's going to rob a jewelry store. Same thing. He tells the kid a bunch of BS about how they're actually bad people and they're actually.
His name is Bobby.
Bobby.
Yeah.
There you go, Bobby.
That's right. Knuckles and Bobby.
Yeah. And then we just see a series of them doing different robbings, and he's just like, Batman never destroys property because the guy blows up a window. And then he's like, Batman wouldn't run from the law. Batman never uses guns. And they're all these red, red
flags.
Red flags start to crop up. And then Bobby's just like, this isn't right. I don't feel like this is right.
Mm-hmm.
That we should be putting crooks behind bars. We haven't arrested anybody yet. Oh, it actually is Bobby right there at the end of that panel.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Dick and Bruce, and they're reading a newspaper, and Dick is making some commentary about how Bobby seems like a smart kid and he'd like to meet him. So then they suit up as Batman and Robin and take off in the Batmobile, heading towards a part of a town where they think they might be able to catch these guys in the act.
Yeah, which they do.
They do. They're right, because it's Batman and Robin. And then this right here, this is impressive. So they climb up the whole entire building by hand. They don't even use a batarang or anything or a rope.
Yep.
And then after they steal the stuff out of the safe, they escape. What does he call it? Friction grips. They escape by just jumping out a window with basically a reverse grappling hook.
Yeah, it's something like that. Penguin would use with a he'd make it out of an umbrella or something.
It's very ballsy.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
But then when they get to the car, the kid makes some sort of comments, and then Knuckles flips out, calls him a brat, and tries to choke him out.
Yeah, which, you know what, Knuckles, not very smart, because the kid is their driver.
Right.
You probably shouldn't choke your driver out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then as he's choking this kid, the Batmobile pulls up.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh shit, we gotta get away.
Yep.
And that's when they do the pole thingy.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I think Batman and Robin have done stuff like that before, but not with hooks like this.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
They're in a high-speed pursuit. Batman and Robin are chasing them, and they stand up and they use these canes to hook onto a light pole, and then they just let the car crash into another light pole, while Batman and Robin just keep speeding by because they're going so fast that they can't stop on a dime like that.
Yeah.
And then they jump down from the light pole, run, and sort of hide inside the foyer of a bank. It's really unclear how they do it, but it looks like the kid scales the wall and hides behind a pillar, and that Knuckles throws a grappling hook up to a lamp and then goes up and hides up under a lamp.
Mm-hmm.
And then Batman and Robin come trying to find them, and then the little kid Bobby jumps from his hiding spot, tackles Robin, and then from the top of the lamp, Knuckles lowers a lasso and then jumps down and uses uses the lamp as a pulley to sort of pull Batman, and then swings and kicks him in the face, and then pistol whips him, and Batman's down.
Yep.
And I love the way Batman's drawn in these couple panels here.
Robin gets shot.
Yeah, well, he gets shot at it. I mean, it looks like he's bleeding from the arm, but then they kind of just ignore it in the next.
Yeah, it's weird because the shot takes down Robin. Like he gets shot in the arm, but like after that, they don't really like pay attention to it.
Yeah,
they just kind of forget it.
Batman's like out right now, so like he can't have that like kind of reaction that he would normally have. But yeah, I'm gonna assume that Robin shot, even though it ignores it later.
Maybe it just scraped his like just barely scraped by, because like that's the only thing that the shot took him down. It stopped him.
Right.
So he definitely got hit, but probably not bad.
Well, and then this is right here, like this is the moment where Bobby is just like, oh my God, this is the real Robin, and this is the real Batman, and this guy that I'm working for is not really a superhero or not a vigilante. He's just a bad guy. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, he comes to his senses.
Right, and then Knuckles pulls the gun on the Batman, who's struggling to get up off the floor, and he's about to shoot him, and then Bobby tackles him and slams him into the wall. He body slams him, throws him head over heels into the wall.
I like that. It was some nice. It was a nice like they set that up earlier.
Yeah,
when he's like teaching him the jujitsu, it was like, wow, yeah, even a small kid like me can, was like, how am I doing this?
How can a small kid like me throw a full grown man over my head?
So it's a good payoff.
Yeah. And he smacks him into a pillar like head first.
Yeah.
So that would hurt.
And I really like what Batman does next.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like so Knuckles is about to get like the jump on Bobby. He's about to like pistol whip him. And then Batman yells, "Look out, Knuckles!" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, got him with like a childish like prank essentially.
And then he kicks him in the hand, knocks the gun out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then Knuckles kicks Batman in the hand for no reason. I guess maybe he was holding a batarang or something. And then they proceed to fight while climbing up the side of a building barehanded.
Knuckles. Okay, so here's what I was getting at. Knuckles, our hero Knuckles. What are two things he does prominently in this?
Punch and kick.
Well, he punches. He climbs things.
Yeah.
He glides.
I see where you're going.
Like you said earlier, okay, somebody like must have been reading like this for their inspiration for Detective Comics or for Jason.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, oh, somebody at Sega was reading this, and when they decided to make the inspiration for Knuckles the Echidna, because even though like this is basically Knuckles the Echidna's origin in Sonic too, kind of the reverse that he's in Bobby's shit, but he does what Knuckles can do. He can climb, he could punch things.
Yep.
He's acrobatic and glide, but in Sonic the Hedgehog, Knuckles is the one who's manipulated and doing the bad things by Dr. Robotnik.
There's also another parallel between Sonic and Batman, which is with the whole Sonic thinking he's like a vigilante and like, posing like Batman and like being the blue streak.
The blue streak, yeah.
Yeah. Well, although that could be like a Superman thing too, but it's clearly a Batman reference.
I'm going to take your word for that one. But well, I was definitely thinking, oh yeah, he's blue. So he's definitely posing in for Sonic here.
I know it's Batman because he talks like this and tries to be Batman.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to the comic here. We've got Batman chasing him outside. Knuckles jumps up to a ledge and starts climbing the building. Batman is in hot pursuit.
Oh, Robin. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Robin definitely did get shot.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
That I overlooked. Batman's chasing after Knuckles, climbing up the building. Knuckles gets to the ledge, the highest ledge before Batman. And as Batman reaches the ledge, Knuckles starts trying to step on his fingertips to knock him down to the ground. But then Batman says, "Let's not be too hasty. Let's talk it over." And then grabs Knuckles' foot and pulls himself up to the ledge somehow using Knuckles' foot. And now they're on even ground and they're fighting. And as soon as Knuckles throws this first punch, Batman dodges it and it goes wild and Knuckles flies off the edge, just barely being saved by Batman at the last second. And then he says, "Don't let me fall. I'll make a full confession." So Batman pulls him back up. And then, we cut to this panel right here that I missed where there's Batman and Robin and Bobby and they're talking to Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And Bobby's basically saying like, "Put me in jail." And Commissioner Gordon says, "No, you helped catch the bad guy. You saved the day." But Robin has a sling on his arm.
Yeah. So it definitely got hit. Like, it was confusing while you're reading it because like, granted Batman was kind of down, but this would be a thing that would send, Batman into like rage mode.
Oh yeah, totally.
But like there was no blood, like outside of the panel where he got hit by the bullet, like there's no indication.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't act differently.
No. Usually it's a little more dramatic. But see, that's the thing. That's why I was saying this isn't really a Batman story.
Yeah.
It's a villain story.
Yeah.
And they're just like secondary characters. Right.
Yeah. Yep. And then Bobby, Bruce Wayne pays for Bobby to go to like some military school where he does very well.
This is the 5th time that Bruce Wayne has given a bunch of money to somebody else to improve their life.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see because then we have Bruce and Dick pulling up to the academy where Bobby is, and Bobby's in like a full military outfit because it's like a military academy.
Yeah.
And he's got a bunch of medals all over his outfit that he's already won. And then Dick even says that he's kind of jealous and wishes that he could be in Bobby's shoes.
You know what Knuckles' big flaw with this was? He's just doing like all these things just as like himself and the kid, just like as himself. He didn't go all the way with like making up like, you know, villain or superhero identities for themselves.
Right. If they had costumes and names, people might have actually thought they were superheroes. There might have been a little bit more.
It would have been more confusing to the people.
I was hoping that was going to go that way. As soon as he was like, I'm going to be my own Batman, my own Robin, I was like, you better have a cool costume.
Yeah.
And then he just convinces the kid to dress in like normal clothes.
Right. Like he overlooks like the most obvious thing about Batman is that Batman isn't just Bruce Wayne doing vigilante things.
Yeah. Kids wouldn't want to be Robin if Robin just wore normal clothes.
Yeah.
It's because Robin is like a superhero. You know, he's like really cool and exciting and he jumps around and he, like.
Are there any like supervillain teams where it's like, you know, the bad guy plus like his like, you know, supervillain kid sidekick?
I'm sure there are.
Yeah,
but I can't think of any.
I can't think of any either. It should be like you figure there would be like a lot more, but like it's not a thing they do. They just like to have like a, you know, the supervillain and then like their goons.
If you think about it, like by definition, supervillains are like they're like selfish. They want to take over the world. They want everything to be about them. So.
Yeah, but you figure there'd be some more that like are just like you know, street level villains. You know, like Sportsmaster. Granted, kind of like Sportsmaster.
Sportsmaster and Sports Boy.
Well, no, Sportsmaster, his daughter's spoiler, remember?
That's true, but she's not really his sidekick, though, right?
No, but
she's
like
just like a Robin character.
That's definitely a direction they could have, like, he could have gone with her,
yeah,
if he wasn't like a piece of shit, you know.
Now's your opportunity to create a Batman villain that has a sidekick like Robin.
Yeah, that's such a $1 million idea. I don't know why they haven't done that.
Maybe it has been done, and you just
I mean,
somehow that story has eluded us.
That is kind of what Joker does in the Return of the Joker movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, with poor old Tim. So on the next episode, we are going to be doing The Two Futures and The Loneliest Men in the World to finish off Batman number 15. And I've read The Two Futures already. It's a hell of a story.
I'm excited about it. I like skimmed it and I was like, wow.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for joining us today. This is Tom.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you next week. Good night.
Later.